I know for some of you it's morning and for some of you it's night. It's good to see all your smiling faces. Today we have two wonderful artists. We have Julie, and great to have you, Julie. Julie's in Sweden, and we have Besnik. And Besnik, are you in Kosovo or are you in Turkey?
No, right now I'm in Kosovo. Just came back before 5 days from Paris.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you for inviting us, John.
Oh, it's fantastic to have both
It's
of you.
always a pleasure being with you guys.
Fantastic. Which one of you is going to go first?
Ladies
Besnik,
first.
you go. No, you go first. You go first.
Okay.
So Besnik will be first. Besnik, did you want to? Are you going to show your colors first?
Yes, I
Okay.
will be showing first the first palette, the first dot cards palette that you guys did it for me and for which I am very grateful. It happened, as I remember, in 2018, John, is it? The first dot card that you made it for me. Yeah, I remember.
I think that's correct.
And during the time when I tested many of your amazing colors, beautiful colors, it didn't happen just to me, but I suppose it happened to all of us. Like we really don't know which one to pick for our dot cards. So as colors with whom we will always be painting. So from the first dot card, I changed a little bit. Like lately I'm painting only with 5 of those, and some of those colors I removed. So these last 2-3 years, I'm mainly using these ones here. I'm going to be showing closer to the camera. But definitely the ones that I love are maybe more than 100 of granules with colors. I know, guys, it happens to all of you, huh? Is it true?
Yeah.
So yeah, from the darks, I will start from Hematite Violet Genuine. Many of you are familiar with this amazing color. You already know that makes such a beautiful granulation. I use it as shadow or as a wall texture in my cityscape paintings. It's beautiful color. Even with this one, just one color, I can finish a whole painting for me as a monochrome. And then it's another one, Hematite Burnt Scarlet Genuine. It's similar to the other one I spoke, but it is slightly more reddish. And about Moon Glow, you already know, many of you use Moon Glow. It's amazing, one of my favorite from the black colors. I don't want to speak about the granulation and other things that you can do with Moon Glow, you already know. Then it's all, of course, Lunar Black, which is also amazing with its dense structure of good granulation, and it's very nice for some shadows when I use it. And also I can also prefer as just one color monochromatic painting. Then we go with blues. Whenever I paint skies, also seas, I use ultramarine blue in combination with cobalt teal blue and verditer blue. So this one is one of the blues that I really love. And then it's verditer blue. It's amazing blue. I usually combine it, as I said, with ultramarine, with sometimes with lavender, and with cobalt blue. There is lavender too. Sorry for autofocus of my iPhone, but I suppose you already see the names. Cobalt teal blue is another amazing favorite color of many of brand ambassadors. I use it for skies in combination with other blues for the sea. And sometimes when I paint abstract paintings, I use it as just maybe as a focal point. Sometimes when I have a lot of reds or other opposite colors of cobalt teal blue. Then speaking of Jedi Genuine, it's another favorite color of many of us. It's amazing green. It does such a beautiful granulation, and it does two beautiful tones. You already seen any one of you that has used Jedi. Then it's a little bit strong color, but I really love it. Tallow yellow green. It's beautiful. Also, I use it when I paint landscapes for some focal points or for some just some tiny details where I would be using some expressive brush stroke just for showing some different color from the greens that I have been using. From reds, I am using alizarin crimson, you already know. Perylene, scarlet, opera pink. These are three from reds. I love Indian yellow. It does beautiful mixes for me, for my taste. It's really beautiful. And there is rose of ultramarine, another amazing color, which is very beautiful combination of blue and red. It does two colors when you paint with it. If you want to have maybe also, I tried to do some paintings only with rose of ultramarine, and I really made it. Maybe it didn't look so much finished, but I really did it up to 70%, maybe just adding a little bit grace, and it's been done because it has such a beautiful grace. For myself, I really love. Then it's amazing wisteria. Potter's pink is also one of the colors that I'm using since the first days that I chose. I have been painting with Daniel Smith, and it's also quinacridone gold, and of course Chinese white. Chinese white, I don't use it a lot for finalizing the paintings for some white accents. I use it sometimes just to get another colors by mixing white and the other colors. I also have here the sticks, which have been also associated with name and the details, and I'm really grateful for this, John and Catherine. These are another 5 beautiful colors. You already know. I also use this. Sometimes I also draw with a moon glow, which is included in this sticks set. And yeah, these are the ones that I probably will be going further for maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't know what other color we will change in my palette, but these are the most colors that I use. I mean, mostly I use in my paintings. Of course, I said it before, I use another maybe 20 or 30 other colors, but these are the ones that I always have them in my palette for the new paintings. I have here some of my small format newer paintings. I hope you guys see them clearly in here. Here, to be honest, I don't remember each of the colors that I have used from the palette, but as you can see, here is opera pink, alizarin crimson. Here is the lunar black, but I didn't use it with as a granulation. I just use it as a black with a dry brush stroke. It reminds me of some cityscape, abstract cityscape, another seascape. Here I have used the lunar black as a granulated color with this beautiful granulation. You guys see it clearly? And here as a dry brush stroke in combination with the blues that I mentioned. Here is another effect that I have been using with masking liquid. Sometimes I use masking liquid. You already see that I did some masking before painting, and then I have been using the different colors. For example, here is the tallow green, and you already recognize here is hematite violet. Here I have used the lunar black. John, should I continue with another maybe 10 paintings or do some mixes?
That's up to you, Besnik. I think as long
Okay,
as
then
the viewers
I
see
will
your
go
colors.
I would go further. Maybe this is much better explanation on how I'm using the combination of colors. So as you can see, here is quinacridone gold combination with opera pink, and then on top of, when I painted here quinacridone gold as a very light tone, then on top of it I painted with masking liquid of Daniel Smith, and then I have applied a lunar black, and then after, as you already know, I removed the masking liquid, and it gave this negative painting in combination with these two colors. This is just some abstract, very fast portrait. I have been painting it in more expressive, not so much details. Whenever I want to do skin tones, I mix Indian yellow with opera pink. It's one of the combinations that for my taste, I love and I prefer. You see here is moon glow effect in combination with otter's pink. This figure is otter's pink color. Blues here. This is another abstract landscape. It's another play with colors, dry brush strokes, wet on wet technique. So mostly combination of the colors that I mentioned before. So this is another, let's say, maybe experimental portrait. I did not by brush, but I did this drawing with sticks. As I said before, with sticks, and I have used moon glow stick for drawing. Maybe you guys try to draw with sticks. I mentioned before, if any of you wants to draw with sticks, you should dip it in very tiny amount of water, and it can be used for drawing if you like to draw with sticks. This is pure drawing, not with the brush, but it's with a stick. And then I just dip my hands in water and got the colors from other sticks to get these tones of the face. Also, I did the same here with the moon glow. You see the beautiful effects of this granulation of moon glow with us. John, I also did this kind of demonstration when we were in Dubai last year, as you remember.
I remember.
Most of the time I have been demonstrating the sticks and this kind of technique. This is another cityscape, the way that I do. Another, say, landscape, abstract landscape. Sometimes I just throw the bigger amount of water and I just mix into it initially, or how to say it, by intuition, the colors. And if something comes beautiful, the form and the colors, if I love them, I leave it like that. And then I just add in the other part of the painting some other details and just like to leave it like this.
Hey, Besnik,
Yeah, John?
on the one you just put to the side, can you take about 30 seconds and maybe really quickly, to the best of your knowledge, what are the colors that were used?
To which of the paintings, or
Not that one, the one before that one.
this one?
Yep. Maybe just point real quickly, 10 or 15 seconds. What are the colors?
In here, you already can recognize opera pink, alizarin crimson, and in here, very tiny amount of lunar earth. I mixed. In here, you can see lavender. I just dropped the dots. Here it's wisteria. Here it's Indian yellow. These are not such a big details to speak about them, but I just, when I see something that happening in abstract way, as I said, by intuition, when I paint, I just add these other dots not by thinking a lot of where and when to put them, but I just drop them. And if something beautiful happens for me, for example, I like it, I loved it like this, I just let it dry. In here, it reminds a little bit like a sunshine. I don't like to paint the sun and moon and so on, but if it happens in abstract way, I would leave it like that. This is quinacridone gold color. This is cobalt teal blue. This one is tallow yellow green. This one is here. And in here, of course, it's another part of black that I used from lunar black, but I didn't add a lot of water, not to cause the granulation. Was it fun to explain, John? Right?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. And in here as well, combination. I sometimes when I play with a thicker brush, I dip in one part. Let's say here it's this tallow yellow green color, and in here one of the Potter pinks, Potter's pink, and then I just do the brush stroke, and I see if the reaction comes beautiful. I leave it like that. I loved it as it happened. Combination of these two colors, I loved it. In here, I have been playing with one of quinacridone lilac, as I remember. In here, you can recognize it's hematite, scarlet, genuine. Here is quinacridone gold. In here, it's, as I remember, lavender, a little bit mixed with ultramarine blue to make another blue, not just the normal blue. I chose these paintings. They are not so figurative, not so much subjects on them, but they are good for showing the effects and combinations how I do, which are not so complicated, very simple, but just to see the colors, how they are reacting, not to make just the simple tests of color combinations. Whenever I do any tests, I always try to do some play with brush and to do at least a little bit smaller detail of some abstract painting or like that. So again, here I use lunar black as a dry brush. Here I use it with water. In background, it's quinacridone gold. Here is Potter's pink. Here is hematite. Another like a landscape, small format painting. This is similar with the other one that I did a little bit more explaining the colors, John. The same colors.
Sure.
Probably I painted the same day.
Yeah. Oh, those are nice.
And this on bottom is totally lunar black. Cobalt teal blue combination with this is one of the blues, the Verditor blue here.
Very cool.
Yeah. If you guys want me to show more of, instead of doing color swatches, I can do swatches. Not a
Yes, please.
problem. Or if you want me to show some more paintings, I can show different effects.
I think doing a color swatch would be fantastic.
Yeah, okay. I will be doing some, not only the swatches. I will play as the abstract background landscape. I will start with blues, how I do it, and then go further. Just like Rick did it last week. I will copy the Rick's technique. Can I do that, Rick?
Go for it.
Okay.
I think he gives you his permission.
like
Okay.
like you need my permission. Go ahead,
Well,
buddy.
I have around 10 minutes, huh?
Yeah, you have
Yes.
9 minutes left.
Oh my God, look at that Barbie girl.
10 minutes, sorry.
Yeah, now I know. Since I heard your voice, you're gonna make it for me 5 minutes, Angela. I know you.
Listen, I want to read you a comment here. Wait a minute, I've lost it. Sorry, I've lost it now. But it was a very nice comment. It was a very
Really?
nice. Yeah.
You did, so you didn't remember that, huh?
No, I cannot find it now because I didn't want to interrupt before. One is by Emmy. She said, "Oh, that's a beautiful portrait, simple but striking." Remember the one in which you draw with a stick?
I will try, maybe if I do some fast, I will try to do some drawing with a stick. So I do. Just let me do some of a bit of this.
Gina said, "Addicted to this art."
Addicted. Thanks a lot.
That's the comment I was looking for.
Okay. So now I'm going to be adding like on top ultramarine blue. Middle will be verditer blue and bottom will be cobalt teal blue. So I'm mixing them here in my brush. As you can see, the brush is here.
Did you put two colors on the same brush?
Yeah, 3 colors actually, Angela.
Ah, fantastic.
And you know what? I'm happy that we will going to be again together in Finike. Are you coming there or not?
Mm-hmm.
So, visualizing this. And then, as all watercolor painters, I will use the gravity now. In here, I will leave it like this, more rough. More, and
I really love the combination of these dry and wet, all on the same brush
yeah,
stroke.
on bottom it's dry
Love
paper, so it leaves this dry brush stroke. And now I'm thinking about adding wisteria here. We'll be adding wisteria. Okay, I will put here colors so you guys will see. I will just play with some abstract landscape. By the way, I love these brushes that Neve produces them from Australia. These are with Alvaro's name.
Yeah.
I love them. They are very nice.
It's beautiful already.
And how nobody asking about which paper I'm using.
Yeah, there is a question there. Which is your favorite paper? Not asking
Lately-
exactly which one, but what is your favorite paper?
Yeah, lately I'm painting with Baohong.
Uh-huh. The artist, the master's edition, I guess, right?
Yeah,
But this soft cold pressed?
it's a medium rough.
Yeah, cold pressed. And this color is Moonglow, right?
Moonglow. Here I will add just a little bit of Jedi.
Straight from the tube. Very good.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
You remember
I do. I was thinking about that.
the
Holland,
painting
right?
we did in Holland? Yeah.
Yeah, we painted together a huge painting, full sheet. I still have it.
Love the red running water.
Yeah.
Oh, that is Stella.
Do we recognize our accents, Besnik?
Of course.
That's a beautiful blend.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick. I said
Yes.
I'm gonna copy your technique, buddy. Kidding.
But you cannot because you're not him.
Yeah, of course.
But we
Um,
share ideas.
Very
Besnik,
harmonious colors.
Thank you.
Besnik, when you put that blue on the big brush, did you put one blue on each end and then one in the middle, or did you mix them all up?
I put more water in middle.
But it's one color after the other, not the three of them mixed up. It's one
Oh,
at
okay.
each end, I think.
Got it. I got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
And now I need a little bit time of reaction of this till it dries. I never use hair dryer. Never in any of my paintings have used hair dryer because I love the colors to dry by itself. Sometimes, somehow I think that they lose the contrast when we dry them by hair dryer. Okay, till this masterpiece gets
Buffy
dry.
says, Buffy
I
Cow
will-
says,
No, of course it's
love
not
your
finished. I'm
energy.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just show how I use the granulation and so on. I will try to do some drawing with the sticks, with Moonglow, how I did the portrait. I will let it dry there. And we'll use the Moonglow. How I do it, like this. I remove the paper and I just dip it in a little bit tiny amount of water. And then you can make a drawing.
Is that a glass of wine?
Yes.
Cheers. This is
Yeah,
Cheers,
let's
guys.
have a
Wine.
toast.
wine time in Kosovo.
So yeah, you can do
Your
it like
finger,
this.
I like your finger paint.
Adding other colors. We already have here. This one.
Just Moonglow?
Wisteria and Moonglow.
Oh,
Here's
we stay. Mm.
a little bit of ultramarine here.
God, in just a few seconds? Wow.
Very nice.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
It's very short time, so I'm trying just to show very fast what Maybe here I could also add some drops of. Doesn't look bad.
It's good.
Oh, looks wonderful.
I like the combination. Maybe here I would add more granulation after it got dry. Maybe some lunar earth granulation would go good. And yeah, you can use it as a drawing tool. These sticks are amazing. I really love the sticks.
Thank you, Besnik.
Thank you, John. I
Very
hope I
nice.
did some good explanation.
You
Very
did.
tough, short time.
That was a
Ivana?
beautiful, quick
Very
study.
nice.
What
Oh, very
what
good.
brush were you using at the very end?
Show us the landscape before you go. Is it dried off a bit?
Of course,
Oh,
I
that
will
looks
add more,
beautiful.
Caroline. I will add more details in this landscape, but later. I'm thinking to
Nice.
use the dry brush with this one. I will post it definitely.
Oh, fantastic.
Excellent.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
thank you so much, John, for
Thank you, Besnik.
inviting, and thank you guys for watching.
Good
I
to
hope
see
it
you.
wasn't boring.
Oh,
Thank
good
you.
to
We
see you
loved
and hear
it.
you.
Lovely
really loved
colors.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Besnik, and welcome, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's a hard act to follow.
You know, it's always a hard act to follow, isn't it?
It is. You know, one of the things I really love about the dot cards is to see everybody's choices. We're all so different in the way that we look at color and the way we use color. And I find that so fascinating. Besnik, we have a couple colors that we have the same on our dot cards. And I'm fascinated with the way you use your colors. It was absolutely gorgeous. I think you've given me some good challenges. I feel like my fingers are itching now to get down and open up a few new tubes of paint and try them out.
Thank you so much, Julie. Oh, come on. It was just expression very
Oh,
fast. I am sure you will enjoy your time now painting, as you usually
well,
do.
thank you.
All the best now.
Thanks. Yeah, the colors that we choose are all, I think, very personal. I love blue. I have actually never met a blue I don't love. I think I'm a little intimidated by by phthalo blue. It's a little bit strong. It tends to stain, but it's an exciting blue as well. When I re-looked at my dot card, I again realized that I've got 7 colors that I consider in the blue family here. You can tell that I do actually really love the blues, I think. So I'll just really quickly run you through what I've got. I've got iridescent electric blue. I've got that here in a tube. I like to make a little paint out that I put on my tubes. This one actually has some black ground under it, so you can see what it looks like on both white paper and on black paper because it's one of the iridescent colors. It's a lovely color. It's a color that I use very often for skies or put a little bit in water to give it some shimmer. And I was thrilled, John, that you decided to make a stick out of it. I really, really am happy about that.
Awesome.
I've also got cobalt blue. I think I hardly ever make a painting without a little bit of cobalt. It just never feels quite finished. I've actually set myself to the task of painting without using cobalt, and I haven't really managed to feel like my painting was finished. So like that really well. It's such a nice warm blue. And then I have Prussian blue, which is the greener blue. And it's a lovely color. It makes wonderful green mixes, among other things. And it's a very transparent colors. The colors that I chose for my dot card, I actually think, John, you've got to figure out how to get 100 colors on our dot cards because these are just way too limited.
Totally agree.
I think it's really, really fun to see how different colors interact when you paint with them, when you mix with them. most of my colors I've chosen either because they're transparent, so they mix really well. I like to do multiple colors sometimes when I'm mixing things, and as long as they're transparent, they usually do really well. Or granulating colors like blue apatite. John, did you find your rock
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
I have a little tiny,
It's
I have
right
a little
there.
tiny blue apatite. Oh, see now yours is gorgeous. Now I'm jealous.
I'll send you one.
Oh, I would love one. Oh,
Excuse me, Julie.
yes.
My name is Mary, and I'm very sorry I logged in very late. What was the first blue that you
Yes.
showed before the cobalt?
It was iridescent electric blue.
Iridescent electric. Thanks a lot. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. I absolutely love it for skies. I don't know if you can actually see here. It just kind of, it has a slight shimmer to it without making it look like a hobby color. And I think on skies, it can just give you that endless blue that you can get on a real sky. It just feels like there's something more to it. It gives that kind of like a 3D effect almost. Plus, it's really fun to mix in with the water to give a little bit of sparkle. I don't know if you can see the sparkle on here or not.
Yes.
But I really enjoy it for that. Then I've got the blue apatite. And John, I'm going to hold you to that. I would love one of your rocks.
Okay.
Blue apatite is actually the first color I bought. I walked into the Seattle store and no, that's not true. I walked into the Bellevue store and I met Catherine. I was given a book by Vesters, that's our local art supply store here. And I've been working together with them a little bit, and I was given a Christmas present. And this book, it's by Jan Hart. I really, really enjoyed it. So many neat things. But one of the things I really love is there's a great index in the back, and it'll tell you about the different things, where you can find them. And among other things, I was blown away by the painting here. You see all the rocks? And then when I started to read about it, I found out that they were done with something called a Primatech, and I had no idea what a Primatech paint was. And in the back, she talked about it some more. Man, by the time I saw all of these things that she was painting with, I had some serious need to buy those paint feelings. And then when I looked it up and I found out that Daniel Smith was based in Seattle, where I grew up and where my parents were still living, I knew it was a match made in heaven. And I haven't regretted it at all. So blue apatite and green apatite, those were two of my first colors that I bought. And I'm still in love. They're just absolutely wonderful colors. I've always collected rocks my entire life. I think I have a rock from almost every place I have ever been. And that's one of the things I really, really think is cool, that you can take rocks and you make paint. I don't think that's ever going to get old. I really, really enjoy that. I had a couple things that we made up for the store, actually.
Oh, very nice.
And this isn't all of them, but I love the granulating paints when you use a really rough paper. This is Fabriano. This is actually the 640 gram paint, so it's almost like a piece of cardboard. But the granulation just is gorgeous on there. I love seeing that. So when I mix paints, I'll often use very rough paper, just because that granulation comes out so clearly. So I really like that. We also had this that I made for the store. And it says paint with rocks. And I just think it's so cool. Some of the things I've taken off now, but just the fact that you can do that, I think is really, really great. When was it that you first, I think, is Lapis Lazuli your first Primatech color, John? Is that right?
It was our first one in oil, and it was our first one in watercolor,
Okay. That was in the 90s?
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is really cool. And look where it's gone.
yes. It's been great.
Okay, so blue apatite and then soda light. That is an amazing color. That is so much fun. I have
His favorite.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just such a great color. I have got 4 different tubes or different soda lights here. One of the things, and it's one of the questions I get often from my students, is so why isn't it a consistent color when you buy soda light? Sometimes it'll be really blue, sometimes it'll be quite black. And I think that's actually one of the things I find really, really exciting. I have my Primitex in a separate palette here. It's kind of like my jewelry box. And so I have it there. It's gorgeous when it's light. It's gorgeous when it's dark. If you add more water and then play with it. This is when I use granulating paints, that's the one time I really, really play with my paper. I roll it all around and try and get all that granulation out. I just think that's so fun. Okay, so I told you that I have the swatches on my tubes. I'm going to do something I tell my students never to do. I always also tell them, don't do what I do, do what I tell you to do. So I'm going to take paint directly out of here. You shouldn't ever really do that, I don't think, with your paints, because I can contaminate them, but you know what? You only live once. So now this one, I don't know if you can tell, this is a much blacker soda light. And I think that's so cool. And it's proof that they're all different. It's real, it's the real stuff. It's not synthetic paints. Can you see the difference in the color, how much blacker this one is than this one? And then I've got one more here. Let's see. And this one is even bluer.
So you get different soda lights.
Yes. So I have about, I think I have 6 tubes. John, I don't know how many batches of soda light you've made over the years, but I would actually love to have a tube of all of them. And then, of course, it's in the stick as well, which is really fun. And even that is slightly different. So I just have 4 here, but if I root through my drawers and my bags, I'll find more. And each one of them is so much fun. I guess in the rock itself, the actual minerals have different weights. Is that right? When you make them into pigments, is that why they
different specific gravity, which causes them to granulate.
It makes sense, because when you think of turquoise, there's shades from everything from the bluest blue, like Sleeping Beauty, to greens and to golds. It's just amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. No, so I think that to me is one of the really, really cool things about the Primitex, is that you kind of always get a surprise in a tube, and they're always wonderful. And hey, if you get a black soda light, there's nothing stopping you from adding a little bit of lunar black in it, or adding a little more indanthrone or something else, and mixing them together to get another variety. So they're great all by themselves, but they're really great mixed together too. Let's see, back on track. Payne's Blue Gray, that's one of my absolute favorites. I really like that because it's not a really depressing gray. It's not a black. It's just got that gorgeous blue tone in it. I really, really like that. And I think it's got a lot of character. This painting is done just with Payne's Blue Gray, excuse me. And I really, really like the different shades that you can get, watering it down or making it more intense. Then I've got Sleeping Beauty. You mentioned that. Oh, it's gorgeous. I mean, painting with real turquoise, that's just such a luxury. And it makes gorgeous, gorgeous mixes as well. Let's see, I've got Sky here somewhere. Hang on just a sec. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to be able to mix that. You can mix it with, for example, the iridescent electric blue. And you can get a really, really fun shade there. The jadeite, Besnik, you had that one too. It is an absolutely amazing color. And Letty was teasing me before. I have several tubes of jadeite too. I have an old one before the P.
It's amazing. He's one of the best from greens.
Yeah, it is. It is really a great green. And John, you had an absolutely huge P. If you can see Letty, can you show Letty's rock there? And John is one-upping us. His is even bigger.
No. Yeah.
It is absolutely gorgeous. And it makes such amazing mixes as well. I really, really like using that. You can turn that into almost any shade of green, depending on what you mix it with. Green gold is another one. Very transparent. It reacts sort of like a yellow. It pushes all the other colors out of the way. It's very bossy. Okay, you'll have to forgive me, John. My students laugh at me, but I call it icky green. I think it's a gorgeous color, but it would make me kind of feel a little sick to my stomach if I paint too much with it because it gets so huge. It makes me a little bit queasy. So that's why I call it icky green. That said, I use it on a lot of paintings. So it's a very dominant feature in many of my things. So I love your icky green.
That was our original name before we called it green gold. We called it.
Oh, well, thank you. Hansa Yellow Medium is my favorite yellow. I've used other ones as well. Indian yellow that you had, Besnik, that's a new one for me. I did start using it about a year ago, and I do like it, but I keep coming back to Hansa Yellow Medium. For me, that's just the all in all when it comes to yellows. It's according to how you rate it, it's half transparent, half opaque. I would like to have another gradient in that. I think it's sort of more towards the transparent side than the opaque side. I'd like to have a circle with just a line through it to show that it's fairly transparent because it mixes so well. Many of the yellows I find are very opaque, and when you mix them together, you get mud. But I really like the Hansa Yellow Medium. That is just a yellow for every season. It's really great. Monte Amiata, Natural Sienna. Love it. It granulates so nicely too. It's just one of those amazing, amazing colors. And again, it's the real stuff. It's a mineral pigment. I just love using minerals. Also very transparent, so it mixes well. I have Quinn Burnt Orange. Okay, so Letty, you called your browns milk chocolate and dark chocolate. I love that. This is my rooibos tea from my time in South Africa. This is my Quinn Burnt Orange. I think it looks like rooibos to me.
Absolutely.
It's a gorgeous color.
Yeah.
I think all the Quins are so vibrant. They're just really, really great. I've been seeing some cars and things, John, with what I think is Quinn Gold again around here. Have they started producing it again?
No.
The original Quinn Gold?
No.
No? Oh,
No.
I was hoping maybe. Oh, I've also got anthraquinoid scarlet and anthraquinoid red. It sounds like it's a spindle or spider phobia, anthraquinoid. I know it's not, but I usually call it A scarlet and A red just because the name is too complicated for many of my Swedish students. They're also very transparent. They're great reds to mix. They're just wonderful. Again, many of the reds are very opaque, and I feel like I get mud a lot unless I use them all by themselves. So these two are my favorite reds, especially for mixing. And then another quinacridone, Quin Rose, also super transparent, a wonderful, wonderful pink. And it's very permanent, which I like. I do a lot of florals, and I really like the way that turns out. Plus, you can mix it with the anthraquinoids. I've got a painting that I'm working on right now. And in here's a mix of some of the anthraquinoids, both the scarlet, the red, and then Quin Rose. It's not finished yet, but I love the way those three interact together. A little Payne's Gray and a little Sodalite in the background. And then Hematite Burnt Scarlet, Besnik, I love it too. That's a great color. It's this beautiful reddish brown that granulates so nicely. It's absolutely wonderful on old roofs or on tree trunks. The other one that I really like too is the environmentally friendly brown iron oxide. It also granulates really, really well. This is the warm and this is the cold. They both have great granulation, but they're different enough that I find that I use both of them. I think probably right at the moment I'm using brown iron oxide most. It mixes so well with all of the blues. And I really enjoy that. We have a lot of grays here in Sweden, so that's something that's important. And then one of my absolute cannot live without colors is Hematite Genuine. Besnik, you had Lunar Black, which is right up there too. I love Lunar Black, but Hematite's the real deal. I mean, that's rock. And you have, Letty's got a beautiful piece of Hematite there, if you can show that.
I agree, Julie, about Hematite and Lunar. But since I used the other two Hematites, I had to choose Lunar because I really love Lunar as well.
I understand.
You have a good choice of colors, huh?
I think you did a great job. I love your colors. So one of the things that I think is really, really fun with Hematite, Letty, I love that piece. That is absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. There's also a brochure. I think, Letty, you had that too, didn't you? Can you show the brochure too? It shows all the Primatex and where they come from, which I think is half the fun. It's good to know where your food comes from these days. We talk about that a lot, but I think your paints are just as important to know where they're from. I think that's really fun. So Hematite is very magnetic. And it's super heavy. It's, correct me if I'm wrong, but it has to be the heaviest pigment, right? Because it's, I mean, it's got a lot of iron in it. Isn't that right?
It has a huge amount of iron.
Okay. So I love showing people who have never used granulating paints Hematite, because it can be black, but as soon as you get water into it, it just takes on a life of its own. And the more water, the more fun it becomes. So if I add in even more water, I can roll it around. And you can see that there's a little bit of a brownish, reddish brown tinge that comes out. And you can see that it turns into granite. It's absolutely lovely. Now, let's see, I'm going to put a little bit more water on it. One of the things that there's absolutely no use for this, but it's so much fun, I have to show you anyway. Okay, I've got enough water on here that's running all around. You see that? See how it's moving? So I've got one of these wonderful magnets, and I learned the hard way not to put it on top of the paint. I have a magnet now that has hematite on it, and I'll never get it off. But if I put it underneath here, you see what happens? It's so cool. I mean, I know I'm a nerd. I know I'm a nerd, but this is so much fun. So you can grab all of that wet pigment. And now it actually, I mean, if I was going to paint a cat, this is probably how I'd want to do the fur. Because if you see, it's changed. I don't know if you can even see it on there, but it's changed structure now. Everything's gotten magnetized. And so now instead of just having dots, I've got little lines. I've got kind of a furry thing going on here.
Julie, I love your enthusiasm. It's very good.
Thank you.
What
Anyway.
weight paper are you using for those swatches?
This one is 300-gram paper. It's also the Fabriano, the rough Fabriano paper. So yeah, I paint a lot on the 300-gram. Anyway, that's really fun. We have a lot of rocks here in Sweden. The west coast of Sweden has a lot of really naked rocks going on. And so a lot of times I will just more or less let the painting paint itself. If I use some of these granulating paints, you get all sorts of fun things going on. Let me see, I've got another one here. You get so much fun in there. And one more thing that I like to do is, did you guys know that this is actually not only a paint tube, but it's actually an instrument for manipulating your paint? So if I have some, let me see, I've got to get some more hematite on there. So I'm mixing it up again. So you can see, get a little bit of that. I'm going to take a little bit of my blue apatite on here too. So I can get these really great colors. And if I use the tube paint or the paint tube corner, I can actually etch into my paper and into my paint. And I can give myself some details in the rocks, for example. So I find that it's a really, really fun tool to use rather than just painting in all the details. You can actually give yourself a lot of that by etching. However, you'll never get rid of them. So make sure you put them where you want to have them. Because once you've etched it into the paper is damaged. But it's a lot of fun in the process. Anyway, I love all the colors. I still think, John, we need at least 100 colors on the dot cards. I think that would do more justice to all of our favorites. I
would agree.
So I love to mix the paints up. This is one way that I try to get my students to mix their paints. I've done all of the paints that I'm using, both horizontally and vertically. And then where they come together, I get the pure color. I've outlined that in black. And then I have mixes. So like here, I've mixed Hansa yellow medium with all of my other colors. And I've done it one more time over here. And one of the mixes, I try to have more of the other color. One of them, I try to have more of the Hansa yellow medium. So I get different varieties. So yeah, I think color mixing is so much fun. Anyway,
looks like sea lab.
Pardon?
I said it looks like a sea lab almost.
Yes, yes, it is. It's very similar. Anyway, that's me. And thank you so much for letting me play around here tonight.
Oh, you are both so welcome. You're so welcome. That was very interesting to watch. Yeah, it's I always get something out of it. So I hope everybody else does as well. Buffy's constantly saying on the other side that she loves watching these, and I so much agree with her and all of you. I learn something every time, so very wonderful.
Every week is just exciting.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. So
It's
thank you,
gonna make
Besnik.
my
Thank you,
series.
Julie. Thank you, everybody, for watching. That goes so fast when you're engrossed in what people are doing. So it's like an hour goes like that. So thank you all very, very much.
Thank
Our
you so
life
much,
is in
John.
fast motion because of the paint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the paint, we're all here because of you, John.
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't
It's all your
have a
fault.
company without you. So thank you all so very
Let's
much.
go. Bye, guys.
Thank
you. Bye-bye.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Tomorrow,
Bye,
guys.
Besnik.
Bye.
Bye, Angela. Bye, Rick.
Bravo,